Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And good afternoon, Manitoba female U18 AAA Hockey League fans, into a Thanksgiving Saturday afternoon tilt here live from the Niverville CRRC as the home side in the Eastman Selects gets set to face off against the visiting side in the Central Plains Capitals. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator for this afternoon, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by Goaltenders, Elite Prospects, Terrico, as well as Movement, Fitness, and Performance, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. We're going to hope that our Wi-Fi doesn't do what it just did as this game continues to progress this afternoon, as we head into this one. Just taking a look at both of these teams where they line up in the standings. As for the Eastman Selects, after losing to the Winnipeg Ice their first loss of the season in a shootout on Wednesday, they of course remain in second place. The Winnipeg Ice jumping over them in the standings, and of course they had a win yesterday against the West Bend Wildcats, so they got 3 points on the Select so far. As for the Central Plains Capitals, if they're able to come away with a clean 2 points today, they're going to be having a chance to overtake the Eastman Selects. As we can see there, only 1 point behind in the standings. Is on this Saturday afternoon as we take a look at both sides coming in, the Eastman Selects. Thought in that game on Wednesday night against the Winnipeg Ice, they played well enough to win for the most part, but something that usually doesn't happen. Unable to finish the job, clearing their own end, taking care of it in the final minutes, allowed for the Ice to tie it up and get it into overtime, of course, and then we needed a shootout to solve things. But as for the Central Plains Capitals, they come into this one off of a 3-1 win last night against the Interlake Lightning. As for Central Plains, one of their best starts in a little while here in the league since we've come back from the COVID-19 pandemic. But the last time these two teams faced off against each other, it was a 6-1 victory in favor of the Eastman Selects. How does Central Plains look to get their revenge this afternoon? We'll have to wait to see to find out. We're also going to try to fix our internet problems here, MFHL fans. So sorry about this. Hope you enjoy this edition of MFHL Game Day on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Enjoy the game between Central Plains and the home side in the Eastman Selects. The Selects at home taking on the Central Plains Capitals this afternoon. Central Plains looking to get revenge from their last time out against the Eastman Selects, where they of course fell 6-1. Eastman looking to bounce back from a loss they had on Wednesday night against the Winnipeg Ice, their first of this regular season. We'll see what happens this afternoon. You're going to hear no commentary for the first little bit, as we're going to try to sort out our internet issues here. No idea why we're having problems here in this rink. We usually don't. But for now, you'll just see the game. No announcing for the time being. Enjoy this one. Selects versus Caps. Puck drop up next. This sent up ice now into the Eastman Select zone as we got 15:43 remaining on the first period clock. It's sent down low to the side of the net. As for the Central Plains Capitals, trying to keep this in deep. It's Zubek at the point, tries to play it to herself off the boards, ends up sending it down low. Zubek heading towards the net, trying to receive a pass, but Eastman closing that off quickly. A turned over once again just outside their blue line as Moorkirk sent it down deep. She goes off for a change now. Zubek pressuring Delaney Rigaud at the wall, forces a turnover. Frost up the wall to Mearleys. Mearleys tried to push that ahead towards the goal, but unable to. Now they do send it there, but closed off right away. Intercepted by Joel Normando. That pass intended for Rigaud off the mark, goes off the boards, allows for Boulanger to send it up to Mearleys as Mearleys sends this in deep all the way for an icing. She was before the red line. Face-off will be to the left of Schwartz. She's the starting goaltender this afternoon for Central Plains. For Eastman, it's Addison Tomes. Brought to you by one of our sponsors in goaltenders. As that shot from Huss at the point. Rebound there. Eastman capitalizes. Left on a silver platter. We'll get her jersey number in a minute. I believe that's Maya Grenier. Yes, it is. As Grenier opens the scoring for her Eastman Selects. That goal brought to you by Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. A shot that was tough to handle for number one in Schwartz. And as for Grenier making no mistake, it's a gift for her and she is able to cash in. Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out today at 995 Milton Drive, as well as on their website at CanCentral sportscards.com. Schwartz out of her own net to play that way out. A little bit like Nedeljkovic the other night for the San Jose Sharks, except Central Plains doesn't get caught there. Puck in front. Central Plains trying to capitalize on the rebound, but unable to find it. It finds the stick of Schroeder instead as she tries to sidestep Schnell against number two. Schroeder fends her off well. Loses the puck down low. Schroeder will get it back as she drops this back now to number 13 in Kennedy Carrier. Carrier goes back to Schroeder. Schroeder loses the puck along the boards to number 10 in Legault. Scott Cook trying to strip Legault of the puck. Instead, this ends up to Kennedy Carrier. Carrier tries sending it out in front, but ends up not getting through some sticks. We're there from Central Plains as Kennedy Carrier tries to feed that through again. Blocked up. Beavis with a chance from the point. That shot wide of the net. As Veda Rigaud, her season debut today. She's been out for a while with an upper body injury. Is wearing the seat today as well for this Eastman Select side. This puck will get sent all the way in. Delaney Rigaud gets it to her sister and Veda. Veda plays that up back to Delaney as Delaney at the line made a move. Ended up causing an offside. And with that, we get a stoppage in play. With 12:22 remaining here in this first period of action. This draw will be won by the Selects, sent in deep number 21 and Emily Carrier. Schroeder there to pressure as well. So they're all over Zubek right now. Gets stripped of the puck by Summer Rae. This ends up to Emily Carrier. She takes a tumble. But no call from the referee. Zubek trying to search for this puck along her bench boards now. Central Plains trying to whack it out, but unable to clear the zone. Now they'll try again, sending it far side. Zubek now sends it up cross ice, or he'll find Moerkirk. Moerkirk sends this right back cross ice. Number 17, who's taken out for Central Plains down low. So now this will be fed up to Caitlin Schroeder as Eastman looks to attack the other way again. Near side, Schroeder stops up, tries to fire that pass to her teammate, but Moerkirk ends up picking it off. Schroeder gets it right back, tries sending it down low. She tries to fend off the checking of a Capital in high. Now what a move by Isabella Carrier, but she's denied by Schwartz and tied on that near side. The side of the net. Puck all the way back down into the Eastman select zone. Hawes first one on it. Plays that through, but turned over. Up top in the Eastman zone to Moerkirk, and Mearleys as she sent that down low. Outlet pass. Now that pass attempt out, not able to go for Eastman. As that glove down by number 34 in Addison Tomes. This face-off draw will be won by Central Plains. Over to Lego. Couldn't handle that pass off the boards. It hopped over her stick, so she sent it to an outlet girl. But that gets turned over. Eastman sends this in deep. Schwartz out of her own net to leave this for a defenseman as she plays that around to Mearleys. Gets up to Lego. Lego cross-ice feed. Way out of the reach for the intended target in Ray. Eastman gets it back, turns it over just inside the Central Plains blue line. That stretch pass missing as Zubek will carry this in. Goes end to end, but shut down by Eastman. So it'll be sent up to Sasha Lambert as Lambert gets that puck knocked off her stick up the wall by Cameron. Jocelyn Cameron gets it back, tries to send this off the boards, but not out as Eastman defended that chip off the boards well. Shane Scott Cook sends it down low behind the net to Schroeder. She goes to battle along with Zubek. Schroeder victorious in that puck battle. Up top to Vaderigo. Vaderigo's shot turned aside by Schwartz as the captain denied there by number 1. As 9:35 remains in this first period of action. We hope you've enjoyed this one so far. It's the Eastman Selects up by a score of 1-0, of course. As for the Capitals, 3 shots for themselves so far. For Eastman, they got 4 on the board. That pass to the slot, picked off by Moerkirk, but Eastman forces the turnover right back. Hyde takes it around her own net, sends it off the boards to Moerkirk. That short little pass fanned on by Moerkirk, taken away by Beavis, sends it to Schroeder, who misses the net just wide there on a glorious chance. Zubek feeds that up into the direction. Teammate number 19. As Eastman gets it right back. Vaderigo towards the net, rebound there off of Schwartz. Did she cover it? No. It ends up trickling past her. Just like that, the Eastman Selects grab a 2-0 lead. As the bobbling puck is just pounced on by the Eastman Selects, they get rewarded with that effort going to the net on a 2-0 goal brought to you by Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As the defending champion Eastman Selects looking very strong to start this one off. So that goal brought to you by Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As Matt Zubek's group, head coach for this Central Plains team, has their work cut out for them this afternoon to get back in this one. They've already played Eastman in the regular season. I believe last week, where it's Eastman who handed them a 6-1 loss. As for Eastman, still on it, just above the ringette line. That shot wide of the net from number 21 and Emily Carrier. Gets it back to Remillard. Remillard's shot can't get through as that was blocked up. So it'll be sent down low again into the direction of Delaney Rigaud, but she's cut off well there by number 10 in Evan Boulanger. As Eastman gets it back beyond their own goal line, and they'll work this to center, but that pass off the mark. It's to Taryn now. She walks in. Taryn fires, but cutting down that angle well was Addison Tomes, aggressive. Almost coming out of her crease to stop that one. It was at the point where 13 and Maddie Frost tried to send it in deep, but Eastman to take it the other way now. Now into the Central Plains zone. Central Plains cuts that off. So it's Laycock. Take it behind the net, rims this around the boards. This gets past Ray all the way down into the Eastman end. Near side, Chloe Carrier, first one on it, being pressured by Taryn. Ray in for support, but Eastman gets good numbers back to help win this puck battle and carry this puck up. It's on the stick of Cheyenne Scott Cook. She'll take it herself still. Past Macbeth now around the net. She sends a pass up to the point. Beavis has to take a bit of time to cradle it. Sends a pass over to Chloe Carrier, whose shot denied in front there by Schwartz. Carrier with another chance. Tipped on net, rebound there. Into the slot. That pass goes. Schwartz hangs with Scott Cook to make that save. Another chance in front, this time for Kennedy Carrier. As both teams continue to whack away at it. Central Plains gets it to the boards, out of danger for the time being, but Eastman right back on the attack. Rebound on net. Displaying good poise there, number 1 in Schwartz to cover things up. Gets us a stoppage here. 6:20 remaining in this first period, where Eastman, they've seen the shots pile up. 13-4, they lead in that shot category over Central Plains. Face-off draw, one towards the boards by the Eastman Selects, but taken away by Jocelyn Cameron. She has Marganet with her, as well as Zubak. Over to Marganet. That shot denied by Tomes, as she just gets a piece of it with the glove to make the save. All the way back down into the Central Plains end, as it's Zoe Shantz. Plays it up the far side boards to Jocelyn Cameron. As Lego goes to battle now with Ray. All the way back into the zone for Beavis. Beavis up to Rigaud. Rigaud sends that pass to Ray, but misses her intended target. It's taken away by Zubek. She'll look to lug this in. Sorry, that was actually number 17. And Kaylin Linz had possession of it as Linz heads off towards her bench to get some fresh legs out here for Central Plains. Along the boards, Zubek going to battle. Boulanger up top for support. There's 3 selects there along the boards trying to win this battle. It'll be Boulanger who gets it down low. Boulanger sends this towards the net. Laycock there banging away at it. Boulanger now swoops in, but unable to get a shot off. Sent in deep by Frost. Rimmed around a bit too hard, as that was out of reach for her teammate, and allowed for Sophie Remillard to get possession of it and send it out. It's back in neutral ice. Now sent in to the Central Plains end. It was into the skates of Boulanger. Now sends that into the skates of Remillard as Eastman forces a turnover. Isabella Carrier pulls up, shoots, blocked. Rebound there, loose puck for Grenier, who would have loved to have her second already, but this time Schwartz gets the better of her. As 4:29 remains in this first period on Thanksgiving weekend here. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday during your Thanksgiving weekend. We really do appreciate it. It's the Eastman Selects on top right now, 2-0. The last 5 minutes of this period now. As that pass towards the point couldn't be held in by Chloe Carrier, so Eastman just regroups near their own blue line. Sent up near side, a bit behind Sasha Lambert, but she ends up winning her board battle down low. Grenier ends up picking this up along the boards. Tried sending it back to Sasha Lambert, but not quite strong to get it to her initially. Now Grenier gets it back and sends it onto the tape of Lambert. Lambert tries to spin away from the pressure caused by Taryn along the boards, as a few players pinned up right now. Eastman wins the battle, far side, point, that shot scores! A crisp snipe from Chloe Carrier makes this a 3-0 advantage for this Eastman Select side now. So another goal brought to you by Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Eastman doing what they usually do best, winning board battles, outnumbering their opponent and getting it to a wide open defenseman, getting shots from the point. This one through a bit of traffic. It's hard, it's accurate, and it's tough for Schwartz to stop. As the onslaught continues here for this Eastman Select side. Again, that goal brought to you by Cairns Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. It'll be played up towards the point now. It was gloved down by Carrier. Isabella Carrier. Well, head off now. Going off for a change his leg. Oh, able to make a nice spin move past Scott Cook to get it out of her own end. Schroeder now goes to battle along with Linz. No penalty called there from the refs, letting these teams play. Ray sends this in on net. Was covered up and played by Tomes. This over to Vaderigo. Where he goes, surveying her options, stretches this up, ended up going off of some bodies, but finally gets down low into the Central Plains zone where Kennedy Carrier tried to whack that to a teammate for a pass in the slot. Now Scott Cook battles down low, but loses in this instance. She'll get it back high slot. What a move by Scott Cook. Makes another one towards the net. Backhand turned aside by Schwartz. The 2:23 remaining now in this first period of action. Delaney Rigaud to take the draw against, I believe that's Boulanger. This draw will be won by Rigaud. Played to Vaderigo at the point. Rebound there, turned aside by Schwartz again as number one continues to battle here. Gets another stoppage in play. This is draw one again by the Eastman Selects. That shot towards the front of the net floated into the glove of Emily Carrier, but couldn't get a shot on net afterwards. She couldn't settle that down, so it was aerial. Now Vaderigo, her shot, unable to get through, so it was blocked up by the Central Plains Capitals. Now onto the stick of Boulanger. Sends it off the boards, gets it to Jocelyn Cameron. It's Cameron pinned up along the boards. Boulanger in to help, but Eastman wins this puck battle up high. Gets it cross ice to Beavis near side, whose shot ends up not getting through as there's too much congestion. Now far side boards. Delaney Rigaud up top to Beavis. She unloads that off the iron, off the post. That shot from number 7. So close to making this a 4-0 game as the attack sustains here for the Eastman Selects, outnumbering two Central Plains players along the boards as this gets to Beavis. Beavis cross ice, D-to-D feed to Vaderigo. Shot turned aside by Schwartz. As 18-6 are the shots now in favor of the Eastman Selects. The face-off draw will be to our near side on the right face-off circle in the Central Plains zone. This draw just won by Eastman. Lambert trying to head towards the net with that chance, but denied. She had her stick lifted. That pass towards the point misses everybody as Tomes forced to get out of her own net to play that. So we're into the final minute of play in this first period of action. That's been brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Laycock can't send that in deep like she intended to. Instead, had her pocket picked at the line. Rigaud has that puck knocked off her stick for a split second. Sorry, that was actually Isabella Carrier. As it rims around in the Central Plains end. Now all the way into the neutral zone off the boards. Normando first one on it. Sends this cross ice. It gets to Isabella Carrier. She sends that in deep past the red line. So no icing to be called. Eastman trying to get one last chance here. From behind the net. They make it out front. But that shot denied by Schwartz. With 11.6 seconds remaining. Eastman at about 19 shots now. It still says 18 on the board. I believe that shot we just saw should count as one. So Linz will be kicked out of this face-off circle. Brings in Mearleys. That's a draw Central Plains has to have. They don't get it as Eastman sends it towards the net. Dangerous as it bobbled in front. But Central Plains will just lug this puck out into the dying moments until the buzzer sounded for this first period of action to signal the end of the first 20 minutes. It's currently 3-0 in favor of the Eastman Selects. As we go into the first intermission, this first period was brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia.
Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia.
So we just played their commercial too early there, but yeah, you'll be seeing their full commercial coming up next. We're going to take a break here, make sure all of our Wi-Fi is okay. Hope that we don't have to worry about this nonsense anymore. For Eastman, no nonsense in their game so far, though, as it's been all business on this Saturday afternoon matchup from the Niverville CRRC. What type of response does Central Plains have? Well, we'll find out coming up in the next 20 minutes and beyond here on MFHL Game Day. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back, MFHL fans, into Niverville CRRC here in Niverville, Manitoba. As we're coming out of our first intermission, that our first period was, of course, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. It seems like we got our technical difficulties sorted out as well. For the time being, crossing my fingers right now. It's been quite a journey in that regard for us this year so far. More Wi-Fi issues than usual, but hey. No issues so far for the Eastman Selects, 19-6 in favor of them in the shot category right now. As we look back at that first period of action, 3 goals for this Eastman Select side. So it was Grenier who opened up the scoring for this team. Of course, Chloe Carrier scoring the 3-0 goal. And as for the second goal of the game, so we take a look at the live scoring in this matchup. Delaney Rigaud ended up scoring the second one of the game. As already mentioned, 19-6 the shots in favor of the Eastman Selects. Addison Tomes in net for them this afternoon as she stopped all 6 shots that she's faced. If not for the performance of Bailey Schwartz, though, in the first period, even though she gave up 3 goals for Central Plains, not entirely her fault. Like, Eastman was all over the front of the Central Plains net. They had 19 shots. It could have been way worse if Bailey Schwartz wasn't standing on her head for the most part in that period. As we take a look at the standings heading into this afternoon's matchup, the Ice at a perfect 5-0. They're taking on the Pembina Valley Hawks coming up at 4:30 p.m. in Morden, Manitoba, as Pembina Valley searches for their first win of the season. And then, of course, coming up afterwards, as that was MMJHL news, we get to MFHL news. The last game to go tonight, Westman back in action in Stonewall to take on the Interlake Lightning. There's going to be a triple header tomorrow on Thanksgiving Sunday in the league, starting off with the Winnipeg Ice at home against Central Plains. Eastman's going to have the day off tomorrow. Same with, just taking a look at it, the other team would be, the Yellowhead Chiefs, of course. They're currently down in Edmonton, Alberta, in a Thanksgiving weekend tournament west here in Canada. But yeah, going into this next period of action, Eastman, I don't think there's much to change in your game. Just keep firing pucks, sustaining offensive zone time against the Central Plains Capitals team, who's been fighting for every inch to try to break out successfully in this game. They had some quality offensive chances, but Addison Tomes, of course, as already mentioned, was up to the task in stopping those. This next period of action will be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, local independent Winnipeg gym going 5 years strong at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. Be sure to check them out. at movementfp.ca as well. In terms of our other second period sponsors, Eastman makes their way back out onto the ice. Brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web today. Be sure to check them out at eliteprospects.com, where you can also find pretty much all the information from the players playing in this league, from past teams they played on perhaps, to the stats they're putting up this season. Yeah, definitely a resource that could be useful for you if you want to get to know how productive these players are in the league as they showcase goals, assists, points, penalties, you name it, on Elite Prospects. But as we get into the second period, funny enough, there's been no penalties so far. It's been a clean first 20 minutes. What do we see in this next 20 minutes? As we are officially underway here for period number 2 in Niverville, Manitoba. All the way down this goes. Wide of the net, Vaderigo steps up past the ringette line, sends this down low to number 8 in Isabella Carrier. As Isabella Carrier to the slot, that pass just off the stick of Sasha Lambert. Getting right back is Eastman. Over to Isabella Carrier again, who's turned aside by Schwartz. Schwartz gives a whack to Lambert afterwards. Wasn't a fan of her trying to go for that rebound after it was covered up. But another face-off draw coming up inside the Eastman selects, or the Central Plains Capital Zone, as this draw won by Eastman. Up to Vaderigo. Rigo to Isabella Carrier, whose shot goes out of play off of a stick. This face-off draw will be to the near side in the Central Plains zone. This draw won by the Eastman Selects once again. Vaderigo quickly over to Isabella Carrier. Back to Rigo. She made her way into the high slot. Shot turned aside by Schwartz. So Isabella Carrier picks this up. Wheels around. Shot can't get through. So it's blocked up, turned aside by Central Plains. Just past the blue line. Mearley's her shot just wide of the net. As for the Selects, trying to play this up, instead it gets cut off. As Vaderigo tries to get it past two Central Plains Capitals. Eastman will have to try to break out again as that failed. And Grenier sends this up towards the blue line, cut off by Central Plains. They send it right back into Eastman's end. Sasha Lambert winds this to Vaderigo. Her pass towards the blue line cross ice, intercepted, cut off by a Central Plains player. Veda will get this right back again in her own end. Goes off the boards D to Reese Beavis. Beavis over to Rigo again, off the stick of Grenier, still trying to get this out. It hops over the stick of Emily Carrier and into the control of Central Plains as they play to D and up to Kaylin Linz. Her dumping gets cut off there. by an Eastman select as Beavis now carries this puck below the goal line. Beavis will drop this back. So it gets to Sasha Lambert. Lambert, drop it back again to Rigaud. Vader Rigaud reverses this near side to Beavis. Beavis tried to feed a pass up to Emily Carrier, but unable to connect with number 21. Down the near side boards again, all the way down into the Eastman select zone as Beavis will stop up. Goes D to Vader Rigaud, right back that sent to Beavis. Beavis, a bit of trouble getting this up the near side. That might as well, or could have been a trip. Not going to be called by the referees as Boulanger ended up meeting the stick of number 21 and Emily Carrier. Carrier takes a bump down low. This will be backhanded out by Central Plains all the way into the neutral zone and back into the Eastman end as Sophie Remillard will track this down. Feeds it up to Emily Carrier, who's wide open. Central Plains, lucky they didn't get burnt on a line change, which left a lot of open ice for the Eastman selects. Down low, Delaney Rigaud will be pinned up along the boards, and for support, Summer Ray as Ray got this up to Normando. Back down low to Ray, who sends it below the goal line to Rigaud, who was contested well, and number 16 in Macbeth. Now it's onto the stick of Hyde, being pressured by Summer Ray down below, beyond the Central Plains goal line, as Eastman will come out victorious on this puck battle. It's been a while since we've seen a whistle in this period. Towards the slot, that shot. Trying to tip it was Delaney Rigaud, but shut down right away by Central Plains. Sophie Remillard gets put into the boards. Body contact penalty coming up. And it'll send the Eastman Selects onto the power play. For the first time this afternoon, it's our first power play of this hockey game, which will be brought to you by Elite Prospects. As Eastman on the power play, they had 2 power play goals in their loss on Wednesday night against the Winnipeg Ice. We'll see how they do here, already up 3-0 in this game. That cross-ice feed to the right face-off circle. Too hot for Chloe Carrier to handle. This will be sent all the way back down to the Eastman end. Addison Tomes rims this around, cut off by Mowerkirk, forced a turnover. Boulanger had it on her stick, sent it in deep. She'll be met by an Eastman select down below, but Eastman can't handle this puck. A shot from Mowerkirk in the slot, turned aside by Tomes. And the Eastman end has a great start to this penalty kill so far for Central Plains. Eastman finally able to get out. Cross-ice feed near side to Scott Cook. Makes her way down low now into the Central Plains end. Up top, she sends this to Schroeder. She goes to Vader Rigaud, top of the point. Back down to Schroeder. Across to Beavis. That shot blocked. Trying to make its way through. Nice job by Central Plains. It's backhanded out. Cut off at neutral ice by Vader Rigaud as she'll wheel her way in. Gonna wind up around the net. Instead finds Kennedy Carrier with a short pass in the slot, but Carrier couldn't get enough on that one. Kennedy Carrier now finds Vader Rigaud, top of the point. Quick pass to Schroeder. Nice save made by Schwartz, as Schwartz had a player on top of her. Surprised that was no goaltender interference called, as Eastman still controls. Vader Rigaud, that shot turned aside. Schwartz lost her stick, so the net goes off. This number 1 continues to battle well here. It's the 24th shot she's faced so far this afternoon. And as mentioned, without the play of Schwartz, this could be even more lopsided score than it is already. She's been locked in, doing a good job of fighting through the rebounds that she's given up, making the second and even third, fourth stops. And that time, a bit of adversity, lost her stick, still able to come away with a few big saves in tight to keep this game still at 3-0. As Maya Grenier loses that draw to Jocelyn Cameron. Central Plains successfully clears this all the way out. Down low deep into the Eastman zone. 13 seconds remain as the Eastman selects. It's Vader Rigaud who will carry this puck up. Rigaud down the right side with 6 seconds left and counting on this Eastman power play as Tome starts whacking her stick. We are back to even strength. That shot just catching a piece of Schwartz before hitting the backboards. It's number 1 able to make another key save here. But Eastman still holds the Central Plains zone to a wide open Grenier to the front of the net. She sent that for Isabelle Carrier. Carrier unable to do anything with it. Now Sasha Lambert tries sending it to Isabella in the slot. But that pass got cut off. Lambert back on it again. About her third win in a race to the puck so far in this shift. She'll drop this back now. Shot from Grenier. Turned aside by Schwartz. With 12-12 remaining here. (25-7) the shots in favor of the Eastman Selects. As Rigaud wins that draw against Linz. 1 to Remillard, whose shot just grazed the blocker of Schwartz. Number 1 able to make another save in this one, about her 23rd of the afternoon so far. Mowerkirk will send this in deep. As chasing after it will be Linz, trying to pin up Ray along the boards, but Ray played it quickly to safety. To Remillard, she'll have to go for a skate. Tries to sidestep Hyde, but Hyde pinned her up well. Cut off her angle along the boards near the Eastman bench. So it'll be saucered across to Emily Carrier. Cut off right away. Martin tried to send that in deep, but unable to. Turned over at the line to Eastman initially, but Central Plains able to get it back, regrouping in their own end. Hyde up to Linz. That pass went off of her stick. Now puck goes out of play into the Eastman bench. With 11:21 remaining in this second period of action. Face-off draw will be just outside the Central Plains zone. Cheyenne Scott Cook just wins this draw back to Chloe Carrier. Carrier tries to dangle her way in, but was contested well there by Frost along the wall. Now down low, Zubek tries to fend off the forward check-in of an Eastman Select player. She did, got it to Taryn, who got it up to number 9 in Reyes. Ray tries to chase this down, but Eastman get to it first. It's Blake Hawes being pressured by Mearley's quick spin move to evade the pressure by Hawes. Got it to safety. Now across to Kennedy Carrier, who sends it in deep past the red line just before the blue line. Schwartz quickly to play it to a teammate, though. She ends up losing that up top in the zone. That was Zubek. Now ends up to Mearley's, who will send it into open ice. Zubek tries to chase this down. Eastman closed the gap really quickly, though. Able to force that turnover. Scott Cook will look to go for a skate. Tried to cut middle, but lost a handle on that puck. Jocelyn Cameron will whip this cross ice now. Mearley's all she could do was send it in deep to evade an offside. Potentially called against Central Plains. This will be sent back down low once again, as Eastman will be first on it once again. Chloe Carrier will flip this out. Nice job by Schroeder to catch that puck and send it in deep. Schwartz out of her own net. This puck made its way past her as Eastman gets possession of it again. Central Plains turns it over. Eastman making their way towards the net. Isabella Carrier dangles. What a save there by Schwartz. Another chance from Sasha Lambert. Turned aside by Schwartz again. So we just saw a robbery committed. Isabella Carrier, it looked like she beat her, but Schwartz at the very last moment sticks out. That right pad just far enough to deny number 8. Foot would have been a beautiful goal. An even better save that we saw there. As Macbeth turns this up over the near boards to Isabella Carrier. To a wide open Sasha Lambert in the slot, who couldn't get a shot off. As Central Plains tries to work their way through Vader Rigaud. Rigaud shuts down Lake Hawk well. As Kaylin Linz picks this up along the board. Sends this out front. meets the stick of Tomes instead as it deflected to the outskirts of that left face-off circle. Shot from the point. Deflects wide of the net into the corner as Eastman control this down below. Going D to D in their own end, and now sending this all the way out is Maya Grenier. Chasing it down, trying to will be Sasha Lambert, but Hyde, first one on it for the Central Plains Capitals team. As Eastman sends it down deep again. We're under halfway gone in this period, by the way. This all the way down for what should be an icing. Into the Selects end. As we got a face-off coming up with 8:37 remaining in this period of action. You've been watching MFHL Game Day here on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. It's the second period. Still, both teams looking for that first goal in this new frame. What a move by Emily Carrier, who goes just wide of the net. She made her way into the slot. Nice stick handling to do so. To be controlled back in the neutral zone as Remillard sends it up to Ray. As Ray spins away from the check-in and will protect this puck on her backhand. Finally has her pocket picked as it's turned over just inside the blue line. Central Plains sends this all the way down deep for an icing call. Once again, so they won't be able to change anyone out there on the ice. That'll still remain. As Eastman looks to take advantage of some tired bodies here on the ice. As this line that is out for them right now, it just stepped foot onto the ice. As Delaney Rigaud gets chosen to take the face-off draw. Tie-up and a win for Central Plains as it's poked down low by Kaylin Linz. But first one on it will be Emily Carrier. Has that stripped away from her stick. As Eastman goes D to D in their own end, or in the neutral zone now. Up to Delaney Rigaud just before the blue line. Sends this in deep where Schwartz will be out of her own net to play that. And leave that for number 16 in Macbeth. Puck down low again. Sent into the slot, but no one home for Eastman on that pass as Cheyenne Scott Cook tried to find Delaney Rigaud. Rigaud, nice forecheck. Pressure at the red line. Took that puck away, but couldn't send it in deep. It's sent in deep into the Eastman zone, however. No icing call on the play. But Eastman will be the first ones on it. Stretch pass to Schroeder from Rigaud. Schroeder will send this all the way in deep, giving chase Kennedy Carrier. Schroeder in for support. Cuts off. Number 12 in Zubek. It's now pinned up along the boards. I believe number 21 in Emily Carrier. Trying to help her out, trying to get this puck loose is Grenier. The puck is still along the boards. We'll see how long the refs let him play before they call this dead. As it finally is loose. Puck battle won by the Eastman Selects. Cheyenne Scott Cook will pick up this loose puck and now drag it towards the slot where that shot ends up being blocked. Nice job by Zubek getting in the lane. She's out there right now with Frost, pinned up along the boards. Number 20 in Taryn. Now Zubek pinned up along the boards. Down low by Scott Cook. Schroeder. I believe that's her in for support. Zubek now knocked to the ice. Schroeder able to get possession of this. She continues to work down low along with Scott Cook. Scott Cook back on it with strength. Draws a penalty, two heading towards the slot. So that will be a holding penalty coming up. Matt Zubek, head coach for Central Plains, very unhappy right now. You can't see him on the screen. It has some words for the referee. I think just trying to figure out what exactly the penalty is for. But Eastman back onto the power play for the second time today. And it'll be the second power play in general in this hockey game. It will be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. All 2 power plays so far going to the Eastman Selects. So we'll see if they can capitalize on this girl advantage. So far 0 for 1. The Central Plains able to clear this out off the boards, far side. Federico feeds this over to Isabella Carrier. Isabella Carrier will walk in. Now delays just below the ringette line. Tries sending that across to Federico, but out of number 17's reach. She's forced to regroup back into her own end as Beavis tried to send it up. The little saucer pass, but wasn't able to get past Boulanger. Now the Selects do get past number 11 as it's carried up by Grenier. Shielding this puck on the outside as Grenier send a backhand down low into the direction of, I believe, Sasha Lambert. Central Plains doing a good job fighting off Eastman down below. Sophie Remillard gets this back down below the goal line. Sasha Lambert hands this off to Emily Carrier as Carrier gets it up to a rookie and Sophie Remillard. Remillard to a vet, and Normando tries to go cross ice feed to that right face-off circle, but it's cut off right away by Central Plains. As off the boards to a wide open Joel Normando. Normando to the slot. That ends up to Carrier, who scores! As a bit of deception there from Summer Rae. It looks like a little touch pass behind her back to get it over to Carrier, who I believe Normando was trying to feed that pass to her initially, but it ends up to Rae first. Great awareness by number 2 to redirect that right into the wheelhouse for number 21 to put it home. She comes into this game as a top 5 point getter as well in terms of Emily Carey, and with that on the power play, second power play of the afternoon, the Eastman Selects able to make good on this opportunity. On that goal brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance. As Emily Carey, looking like she's hungry for more, dished it off instead to Delaney Rigaud, but she had her stick lifted, so couldn't receive that pass cleanly. As Summer Rae along the boards, puck ends up being taken away by Central Plains. Here a potential break. Mirrlees has Martin head into the net. Mirrlees snipes instead and scores! And Mirrlees decides that she likes the shot opportunity better than the pass and makes no mistake with it. Putting it just under the bar, fooling Tomes. So I don't think she was expecting it to rise like that. Borderline bar down shot. I believe it hits the back bar. And for the first time today, that gets Central Plains onto the board. It's unreal what could happen when just a little breakdown and covers there in the neutral zone. Wide open space for Mirrlees to carry that puck in. So 2-on-1 was developing. As that goal brought to you by Elite Prospects. It's their 9th shot of the game. Hey, their first goal of the game at that. Look for more quantity, and maybe, just maybe, you have a great chance of coming back in this one. First, you got to fend off this Eastman Selects team. It's going to be coming back hard, I believe. Sent up ice to Kennedy Carrier. She tracks this puck down. Shot turned aside by Schwartz. Rebound left there. It'll be smothered by Shane Scott Cook as Scott Cook drew that most recent penalty. Ends up losing a handle on that puck on her stick. As Zubek, as Schroeder gets taken out right at the blue line by Kaylin Linz. No call from the referee. As Chloe Carrier past the red line sends this in deep now. Off the backboards is Bailey Schwartz debated playing it, but decides to just stay in her own goal. Schroeder to Lambert in the slot. Can't get that shot through. Eastman was looking for a second chance, but not to be there. Central Plains will just send this out of play into the Eastman bench. To get us a stoppage here. with 2:42 remaining in this period. Shots 28-9 in favor of the Eastman Selects. Started off up 4-0 in this game, but most recently a snipe by Mearleys has cut the lead into 3 now for the Selects. As Jocelyn Carrier was able to get this one out past Federico. Rigo makes her way into the zone, dishes this across to Lambert. Lambert now sends a pass into the slot, but just out of the reach for Maya Grenier, the initial goal scorer in this game this afternoon. As Isabella Carrier will send this up to Sasha Lambert. Cut off right away. I believe Schwartz. All the way down, this will be sent into the Eastman end, but no icing call on the play. As Federico will dangle her way through. Dishes this off to Isabella Carrier, who just before the blue line sends this in deep. Schwartz out of her own net to play that. Decides to get it to Lego. Plays it up the near side. Boards to Jocelyn Cameron. Has that pass attempt blocked up by Normando. As now a Central Plains Capital takes a tumble. She's right back on her skates, finding her balance again and Lego. She dumped it in deep and goes off for a change. First one on it in the Eastman end, Sophie Remillard. Short little pass over to an outlet girl and Isabella Carrier. So it was turned over in the neutral zone, sent in deep again by Central Plains. As a better period for this Central Plains Capitals team. They've cut down the number of shots that they faced. They gave up about 18 during that first period as we're into the final minute of play now in this second period of action. Shot from just outside the zone will be stopped and covered up by Bailey Schwartz. By the way, number 15, I made an error. That's Zoe Shantz, not Schwartz. Shantz not out there right now. Mower, Kirk, Zubak, along with Frost, Linz, and Martin, with 44 seconds remaining. That off the helmet of Hawes. He didn't know where it was, as Mower Kirk got tangled up with Emily Carrier in the neutral zone there. This sent neutral ice to Chloe Carey, who got it up towards the blue line to Delaney Rigaud, sent it in deep. Given chase on her was Emily Carey. It's played D to safety to Zubek. Up the wall to Mowerkirk, but she's cut off. Now turned over, middle of the Central Plains zone. Delaney Rigaud steps up, fires into the shin pad of a Central Plains Capitals player. As with under 10 seconds remaining, Central Plains still unable to get this out, but sent out of play just as quickly by the Eastman Selects into their own bench. It's great to see the crowd out here for the Eastman Selects today. I think some players from their younger age group programs out here wearing their jerseys to support their U18 Selects today. You love to see that, and you love to see this period, this sort of response from the Central Plains Capitals. I mean, even after going down 4-0, they respond quickly right away with a beautiful goal off of the rush from Mearleys, who picked her spot past Addison Tomes. Way less shots given up this period from Central Plains. Yeah, they didn't have the most shots, something they'll want to improve upon, of course, since they're not even at double digits yet. But, hey, Bailey Schwartz have given them a chance in this game. And it's going to take their best, even more than their best, to probably come back in this one. But even if you're unable to come back, and complete the comeback to tie things up, just continue to compete in this game, continue to hang with this Eastman Selects team, and don't make anything easy for them to close this one out. As for the Eastman Selects, they're looking to get back in the win column today to reach win number 4. They're close to doing so. A final 20 minutes to play, though, before we see that result potentially happen. Stick with us, as we'll have your third and final period of regulation coming up next as we head into our second intermission now. Suzanne Bonig will do its laps on the ice to give us a clean sheet. You're watching MFHL Game Day on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. This second period brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, an independent local Winnipeg-owned gym, going 5 years strong at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. Be sure to check out their website as well at movementfp.ca. We're also brought to you by Elite Prospects for this past period of action, the most informative hockey player database on the web. Be sure to check them out at eliteprospects.com. So we'll be back here for the third and final period of regulation on this Thanksgiving weekend on Saturday. Hope you're all enjoying it, MFHL fans. Stay tuned for more coming up next. And welcome back in, MFHL fans, into what will be the third period of action here in regulation coming up, which will be brought to you by Terraco, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check them out at terraco.ca, as, during that most recent period of action, it was the Eastman Selects who ended up scoring their fourth goal of the game. So we take a look at who the marker ended up going to, and that would be Emily Carrier. But about 30 seconds later, Ava Mearleys, number 5 for the Central Plains Capitals team, would get them on the board for the first time, sniping one past Addison Tomes in this Saturday afternoon affair. As for the Eastman Selects, talked about their matchup against the Winnipeg Ice that happened on Wednesday night. We were on the call there, and we'll see if we got some highlights to play, and yes, we do. So this was from Wednesday night at the Hockey for All Center. The Winnipeg Ice would open up the scoring, as being able to find it in tight would be Callie Adams to put the Ice up 1-0 in this. But on the power play, as mentioned, the power play was really working on Wednesday night for the Eastman Selects. And here, they're able to get it to the net, crash on that loose puck, and putting it home would be Cheyenne Scott-Cook to get that game even at 1 apiece. Moving into the latter half of this second period, Eastman in their own end, able to recover this puck as a pass sent in the direction of Delaney Rigaud. Sidesteps the Winnipeg Ice defense, gets to this puck first, and lays a beautiful shot into the top right-hand corner past rookie goaltender Isla Matthews. Eastman up for the first time in this game. But after the Ice would tie it near the end of the second period, into the final minutes of the third, 3:30 left in this one, it would be Emily Carey who would find the back of the net to give Eastman back the lead again. But into the dying minutes of this one, Talia Jones had something to say about
back in the corner.
Eastman winning this one.
It's going to be a chance. Adams, push on! Score! The Ice with 4.4 seconds.
Talia Jones somehow wide open at the side of the net. You usually don't see a blown assignment like that from the Eastman Selects, but Winnipeg taking advantage of that misplay in the Eastman zone. Overtime would solve nothing. We go into shootout, and a few shooters in. Aaliyah Texiera to shoot, puts one past Addison Tomes. So that means on this next chance for the Eastman Selects, they got to score to keep this one going, as Emily Carey would be the shooter. Start left, go to the right, walk in, try to fire a shot, low glove side past Isla Matthews, but Matthews would be up to the task, stopping all shots she faced in the shootout, as the Ice would hand the Eastman Selects their first loss of the MFHL season here in the regular season. But a great response from the Eastman Selects today, a really strong opening period to get them to 3-0. In terms of that advantage on the scoreboard. This past period, they were able to, of course, maintain their 3-goal lead heading into the intermission, as they've still held Central Plains to under 10 shots so far, which is pretty impressive. Central Plains, a lot better job defending in their own end. That last period, giving up only about 11 shots compared to the 18 they gave up in the first period. And as for Central Plains, of course, coming into this matchup, as we take a look at the standings. Or sorry, we got a pregame. Those are standings from yesterday heading into that Friday night doubleheader that we saw in the league. As we see here, Eastman looking to get to 4 wins on the season. And for Central Plains, looking to, get to win number 4 today. The hope was to, of course, pass the Eastman Selects in the standings, but Eastman looks like they're not going to allow that to happen this afternoon, unless some sort of miracle potentially happens in this upcoming period. And the reason I say that is usually if the Eastman Selects are up by the score they are, so we see Central Plains makes their way out onto the ice first. Very rarely have I seen Eastman in the past few seasons blow a lead when they've been up by 3 goals, and as strong as they've been playing today. So they actually had 30 shots in that period, the scoreboard just being updated. Yeah, if they're able to maintain their level of play, even from the second period, I think Eastman has a pretty good chance of coming away with the 2 points. The clean win in regulation. But Central Plains, they've had the goaltending in this game to keep them within striking distance to still tie it. A 3-goal lead is one of the most dangerous leads in hockey. And if you're the Capitals, can you be opportunistic enough? Can you elevate your play enough in this next period to be able to give yourself a chance to get back in it on the scoreboard? As they currently await the Eastman Selects, who are still about to make their way out onto the ice, as they'll be let out by their starting goaltender today in Addison Tomes, who, by the way, congratulations to Addison Tomes along with Vader Rigaud on Kraken Team Manitoba's U18 roster, making their Program of Excellence team the provincial squad that will be taking on different provinces in the Women's Nationals down in Newfoundland and Labrador, starting on November 2nd. As during that time, all league action will be paused in the league. As there's quite a few players from the MFHL cracking this year's roster. You absolutely love to see it. And you'll have to see these 2 teams back out onto the ice. As Trevor Hildebrand's Eastman Selects going up against Matt Zubik's Central Plains for a final 20 minutes of regulation here. Could we see overtime? Well, we'll have to wait and see. This third period brought to you by Terrico, and we're off as Eastman wins the draw back. Joel Normando quickly D to Sophie Remillard. Up to Kennedy Carrier, who sends that in on Schwartz. Paddles this to the backboards. Left it for Lego. Lego, her pass way out of the reach. Her number 15 and chances along the near boards. Both teams battle, trying to get this puck loose as it's taken away by Taryn. Played it to Lego. Lego off the boards. Tried to find Martin, but that pass cut off by Normando. A stretch pass up to Mowerkirk just at the red line. Mowerkirk just before the blue line sends this in deep. It's gloved down by Chloe Carrier. And Carrier sends a pass across to number 12 in Haas. As Haas has that taken away from the other number 12 in Zubek. Puck picked up by Summer Rae over to Schroeder. Schroeder's pass unable to get past the skate of a Central Plains Capital. Allows for this to stay in deep in the Eastman end for the time being. Now they break out into center. Short pass up to Delaney Rigaud. Quickly kicks it outside to Schroeder. Now down low below the goal line to Haas. Haas out front to Schroeder. Schroeder's trying to poke away at it, find it, but unable to. Delaney Rigaud settles it up, gets it back to the point. Chloe Carrier's shot tried to deflect it off of Rigaud's stick, but it went wide off of Delaney's attempt. As Central Plains had enough of that pressure, they just send it all the way down off the glass, and this will make it down ice for an icing. As 18:25 left in this third period of action. Draw one below the goal line by the Central Plains Capitals, but Eastman, good pressure, forces a turnover. So it'll be reversed down low to Lambert. But that makes its way past her stick, a bit off the mark. She couldn't cradle it in. As Eastman still hemming the Central Plains Capitals team in at the blue line. Haas steps up. We'll look to carry this puck in. Sorry, that's actually Reese Beavis. As Beavis in front, short pass, scores! Beavis activating up from her point position, taking it all the way around the net before finding Isabella Carey in front, as the Eastman Selects able to restore their 3-goal lead. Or their 4-goal lead now, on that goal brought to you by Terrico. Somehow left open was Isabella Carey in front. Beavis with great awareness to get it to her. Emily Carey looking for her second of the game. Sends it out of play instead, off of a stick. And out. Chance got Cook to take the draw against Linz. Or no, sorry, that was Boulanger. Boulanger won it back. It's played D to D. And eventually gets to Jocelyn Cameron. That clear-out attempt held in by a shin pad from the Selects. Now trying to drive it towards the net. Emily Carey, but had Boulanger draped all over her. Puck still not out for the Central Plains Capitals. Emily Carey up top to Sophie Remillard. Remillard, her shot ends up finding the stick of a Capital instead. As delayed penalty coming up here. This one will go to the Eastman Selects. And with that, we'll bring Terrico back onto the screen. And for the first time this afternoon, it's going to be Central Plains going on to the girl advantage. A CPC power play. That's what we got the abbreviation for Central Plains in this one. And it's going to be a double minor. So 4 minutes to work with here. 17:09 remaining in this third period of action. Taylor Taryn be the one to take the draw for the Capitals. Wins this back to Lego. Lego holds the puck, sends it towards the boards to Cameron. Cameron back up top to Lego as Lego continues to hold this puck. And now back to Cameron again. Cameron hesitates, just decides to hold on to this puck. Can't get it down low. It's cut off along the boards. Intercepted by the Selects and sent in deep back into the Central Plains zone. As for Shantz, with some time, will connect with Lego far side as Lego delays just inside the blue line. Has her stick lifted as well. Puck gets sent into the Eastman zone, or into their bench, sorry, from the Eastman zone. So we'll get a face-off draw back inside the Eastman end. It was cleanly sent out by the Eastman Selects. Draw won by Central Plains, but getting a step right away to cut off that puck was Delaney Rigaud. She sends it in deep, and she ends up sending the Central Plains Capital into the boards, and Frost. And, oh no, Frost really slow to get up. We're going to turn away from that for a moment. It's going to be a 5-on-3 coming up as Delaney Rigaud heads to the penalty box. Yeah, it's a battle heading into the boards, and Delaney Rigaud ends up sending Frost hard in to that corner. Lost her balance, too. So Rigaud kind of knocks her off balance. We'll send it to our promo screen for the time being, showing you what types of games, or the next games we'll be broadcasting for the rest of this month. As we're going to be in Shoal Lake next Saturday for 4:30 p.m. As it'll be one of the most classic rivalries here in this league, Westman taking on Yellowhead at the Shoal Lake Communiplex. We'll see Central Plains back in action in Morden 2 nights before Halloween in a few weeks from now. But as we see here, Frost able to be helped off the ice, and It's nice to see some movement from her. Wishing her the best and hoping that nothing is too seriously wrong for her. Oh, it was a physical play, but 5-on-3 for the next 2 minutes. Will still be that double minor remaining for 1:11 afterwards. As this play down low, miss pass from the Capitals. They 2-on-1 a select in the corner and get this back. It's Merleys. Tried to send it back door, but had that pass disrupted. Now work top of the right face-off circle, now across to the top of the left face-off circle to Legault. Legault walks in, feeds it instead. Great deception from number 10. Loose puck still there. Tome sprawled out somehow, someway. Number 34 keeps this out of the back of her net. So we get another stoppage in play. A great play by Legault. Eastman thinks she's shooting all the way, but at the last moment, out of the corner of her eye, she sees a wide open teammate backdoor. Maybe the pass just a bit too strong for her to handle. As that now across to Cameron, turned aside by Tomes. Rebound there, Taryn poking away at it. Puck was still loose, but refs call it dead anyways. It's another face-off to the glove hand side of Holmes. Taryn has her stick tied up, trying to find this in her feet. She does end up just getting enough of it to win possession back for Central Plains. Macbeth walked in, dished this off to Cameron, now across to Hyde. Her shot blocked, but back up to the point to Macbeth. Macbeth right back to Hyde as Hyde will backpedal a bit, sends it right back to Macbeth. Nice pull to the backhand to protect it. Another one to get past number 7 in Beavis to control that. As Hyde at the point. Back to Macbeth. That shot blocked by Beavis. Using her noggin on that one to get in the way as it's cleared all the way down by the Selects. They get off for some fresh legs too as this 5-on-3 continues for the next 33 seconds and counting. Hyde with some room to work this up through the neutral zone. Decides to still hold on to it way into the Selects end as Hyde will get a pass back. It's up top at the ringette line. Sends it D to D to Macbeth. Now back to Hyde. Hyde hesitates. Over to Linz, and Linz tried to go cross ice to Macbeth, but a bit of miscommunication, a misplay on that passing sequence from Central Plains. Allows for what could have been a great scoring chance for them to go out the window. 1:05 remaining now in power play time as we're back to 5-on-4. Double minor still intact. Legault, her shot tipped on net. Tomes somehow able to get that pad out to make the stop. As Eastman sends this all the way out off the boards. Rigaud out of the penalty box, giving chase. She'll take this puck away from Merleys as Rigaud trying to shield that away from Legault, but Legault able to pick her pocket. Legault will go for a skate now. Down the far side, chips it off the boards, tries to sidestep to Eastman D. But Hawes there for backup down below the goal line, sends this all the way down deep, back into the Central Plains end. With 22 seconds of power play time remaining, Kaylin Linz, cross-ice feed towards her bench to Merleys, sent it up to the direction of Martin, but that pass out of her reach as Eastman sends it all the way back down again, getting fresh legs out as well. Zubek off the stick of Linz. This goes. We're back to even strength. Central Plains with some good chances, but unable to do anything with them. As Tomes was rock solid in her crease there, turning away some tough shots during those 4 minutes. I guess 5 minutes in total. No, it'd be 4 minutes. As the 5-on-3 happened while the double minor was still going. Zubek off the boards. Tries to muscle her way past number 9. in Grenier, but was unable to. Off the boards all the way down. Addison Tomes out of her own crease to leave this for Veda Rigaud. As Veda Rigaud, this year's captain for the Eastman Selects, will play it up to Beavis. Beavis is passed in the neutral zone, intercepted and fired right back in again. As Rigaud will be pinned up along the boards by Taryn. Wraparound chance denied by Tomes. It's a nice forecheck there from number 20 for Central Plains. One of their best players in Taryn. Forced to cough up of the puck on Veda Rigaud. And sneaky wraparound chance that Tomes seemed like she was ready for right off the jump. This Lego tries to chip this out, instead sent it into a select shin pad. Now this gets free up into the select zone for Taryn. Taryn trying to search for that puck again, but Beavis does a good job to shut her down. It'll be played to Mowerkirk down low. Mowerkirk sends it up top to Macbeth. Macbeth sends it down low where Taryn will get it in front to Mowerkirk, but she can't let the trigger go. She was contested well by a Selects defenseman. As just over halfway remaining in this period right now at 11-11. Make-A-Wish MFHL fans, if you can. As the wish for the Selects, I'm sure, is to be able to close out this game. As they have a 4-goal lead right now. As for the Central Plains Capitals, look for one better. Continue to display this effort they have. Maybe they keep crashing away at the Eastman Selects defense, and maybe they get rewarded with a few goals in this period, even though time is running out. As for Martin, trying to out-muscle Normando to get to the puck. Delaney Rigaud there for good support. Almost took the puck away, but Central Plains will hold the wall, clogging it up well to keep this puck in deep. It's reversed around. Schroeder tries to find Delaney Rigaud, who's tangled up right near the Central Plains blue line. No call for interference from the referees, so I'm sure Delaney was looking for a call there. Is number 20 in Remillard off the boards all the way out. As Schnell will be the first one to chase this down for Central Plains. Takes it around her own net, fires this pass to a turnover at the point. As Chloe Carrier sends that pass into the slot from down low. It's not going to connect as it ends up all the way out, and Eastman forced to regroup. It's just outside the Central Plains blue line. Zubak converged on Chloe Carrier. Allows for Jocelyn Cameron to carry this in, but couldn't make her move past number 12 and Hawes. She shut her down well. Picked up right inside the Central Plains blue line by the Capitals. Eastman gets it back and works it near side. Lambert tried to work it towards the middle upon entry into the zone. Shut down by a good Central Plains Capitals stick. Central Plains sends this all the way out. So it'll be retrieved by Veda Rigaud. Over to Beavis. Beavis to Grenier. As Grenier sends it in to the Capital zone once again. Marganet battling with Lambert at the line. Lambert gets the last laugh by sending this in deep as she goes off for a change. It's rimmed around. Lego pinned up along the boards. Emily Carrier will scoop up this puck just before the blue line sends this in deep. It's the dump and chase game here. Evident in this period for this Eastman Select side. Trying to tire out this Capitals team even more. Short pass in front, denied. On that shot was Carrier by Schwartz. As for Veda Rigaud, quickly up towards the blue line. That pass sent to Kennedy Carrier towards the high slot. For Emily Carrier, that pass went. Now out of the blue line this goes. It's Remillard. Sends it in off the boards. Cross ice feed. Intended for Taryn. Makes it past her. As Boulanger picks this loose puck up, fires it wide of the net. Turned over high up in the Eastman zone now as Eastman Tries to feed this through. It'll get through to Scott Cook. As Scott Cook looking to go one-on-one with Shantz. Dangles through. What a move from Cook! Denied, though, in front by Schwartz. That's the dipsy doodle there from number 15. Would have been highlight reel worthy if she was able to put that in the back of the net. This will be waved off. No icing on the play. Central Plains getting all 5 fresh legs out onto the ice now as Delaney Rigaud tries to send that in deep. It'll be cut off. Summer Ray in for support. Ray tries to squeeze to the middle. Ends up getting that puck to number 21, I believe, in Emily Carey. No, that was Blake Hawes wearing number 12. It's turned aside by Schwartz on the save. Summer Ray will take the face-off draw here. 7:01 remaining in this period. Draw won by the Selects. D-to-D. Hawes rebound on net, but Rigaud couldn't do anything with that. Sent it to Ray, but it hopped up over her stick. Zubek plays that to Mearleys. Mearleys up the middle to Ray as Ray tries to get a step past Carrier. She almost does, draws a penalty at the very least. As with that, we're going to see Eastman Selects going back to the penalty box. Central Plains going back to the power play with 6:38 remaining in this 5-1 hockey game. Chloe Carrier. Penalty I think the coaches are fine with. You're up in this game. You eliminated a scoring chance by doing what you did. For Central Plains, they've had some good looks on the power play, but not quite good enough to get one past Holmes. See what they got up their sleeves this time around. As Eastman right away sends us all the way down deep. It was left for number 10 in Lego, who will survey her options up ice and will start to skate with it. Cut back, pass up to Ray, but couldn't handle that cleanly, so turned over and sent all the way back down by the Selects. Lego will try this again. Lego, nice cut move past Schroeder. Has to play it up quickly, though. She was about to lose the puck. Successfully gets it to Linz. Linz flips this to Ray. Ray has that puck taken away from her, but Eastman still can't get it out. Macbeth slides it over to Lego. Lego down to Linz. Linz quickly up top to Macbeth, but Macbeth took that on the backhand. Couldn't really maneuver it to her forehand to do anything with it of substance. Lego, she'll keep that on the backhand, shielding this puck. She tried to locate Macbeth, but held on instead. Schroeder pins up her player along the boards. Up top, Macbeth again. That shot ends up somehow finding Linz at the left face-off circle, but a swing and the miss didn't allow for a shot to get off. Mearleys wraparound chance denied by Tomes on that far side. Eastman still unable to get it out. So penalty ensues here. Some rough stuff along the boards as Schroeder goes down hard. She'll be helped off the ice right away here. It'll be 4-on-4 for the next 35 seconds. So we'll leave Terrico on the bottom of the screen. Two-minute penalty for head contact. And it's a shame because Central Plains, the more work they get on the power play, the better they look in terms of possessing that puck and controlling it. And there, they were hemming in Eastman, winning the board battles, not allowing for Eastman to chip it out, just losing a bit of control and getting a bit too physical here. A nice play. Shan Scott Cook denied. Wraparound chance now. Again, that won't go for number 15. She finds it somehow again in front of the net. Maybe a third chance for her. Instead passes up to Remillard. Remillard shot wide of the net. As it deflects off of a stick and wide. As this, remember, still at 4-on-4 for the next 10 seconds. And counting. As Eastman about to get onto the power play. Not the best decision with the puck as that's turned over by Central Plains. Eastman's possession is Carrier. Emily, that is. Ends up sending this out of play after it gets deflected out. And by the way, this is a double minor That's been served to the Central Plains Capitals. It's number 15 and Chance in the box. As for the Selects, time to perfect their craft on the girl advantage. Best power play in the league last year and been one of the best to start off the season. Cross-ice feed to Emily Carrier. She just can't handle the velocity on it. Strong to hold the line, though, as Carrier continues on towards the net, to the slot. Drops us back to the point to Hawes. Over to Chloe Carrier. That quick pass to Emily Carrier. Fanned on and out of play. But yeah, Eastman loves to work it up to the point. One of their defensemen usually quarterback in their power play, and what they like to do is not only work it up top, but then work side to side afterwards with quick passes, as we saw there, and more times than not, been able to find cross-ice passing seams that have opened this afternoon. Just on that chance, a bit too hard the pass across, and Carey ended up fanning on it. Tipped in front by Lambert, wide of the net. Somehow this pass ends up back up top to Veda Rigaud as she walks in. Rigaud sends that towards the net, but blocked up well by the Capitals. Beavis now will feed this over across to Isabella Carrier. Backhand drop to Veda Rigaud, but that shot gets blocked. Somehow Rigaud blocks that clear-out attempt with her stick. Eastman still maintains offensive zone possession. Zubek with other plans. No, she can't get it out as that's stopped up, intercepted by Beavis. Reese Beavis over to Veda Rigaud. Shot through, but unable to get past Schnell. As finally it's cleared all the way down for the Central Plains Capitals team. But here come the Eastman Selects again. No mercy as they're right back on the attack. Beavis played up top. Number 17 in Veda Rigaud. Over to Beavis again. Through a screen, but unable to get on net. So I caught a piece of Lambert and deflected wide. Veda Rigaud drags to the middle. Fired that into the stick of Linz. Loose puck picked up by Grenier. Offensive zone time continues to pile up here for the Selects in these past few minutes. Central Plains just can't seem to find a way to clear this out, no matter how hard they try. Remillard over to Schroeder. That shot unable to get through as it was blocked up in front. Lambert was fighting to get position on Hyde. Selects try to get possession of this again down low, and they do. It's Normando as a teammate calling for it. Ends up sending it up to Remillard, to Schroeder, back to Normando, who's denied by Schwartz. Rebound there, covered up by number 1. And what a clinic here from the Eastman Selects. My goodness, 2:02 remains. 50 seconds still in the double minor to Chance. Central Plains, you got to feel for them too. They're trying to get this puck out, but Eastman just too strong at the blue line and in the right positions to pick off passes. Central Plains have to be a bit stronger on their clear-out attempts. Unfortunately, weren't able to be, as that tipped wide of the net in front by Delaney Rigaud. Shot came from Schroeder. Schroeder passes up to Remillard. Remillard shields on the back end. We'll dish this off to Normando. Near side, back up to the top of the point to Remillard. Her shot blocked. Trying to get that through. There's finally an offside called here on the Eastman Selects. Central Plains was finally just able to get it out. Minute 32 remains here. 20 seconds left on the Chance penalty. Straw will be won by the Selects as Carey will carry this in. Down the left side, she'll circle back. Passed up to Scott Cook, back to Carey. That shot off of a stick and out of play. 9 seconds remaining. Shan Scott Cook to take the draw against Ray. Won by Scott Cook. Looked like she was more ready for it. Tipped wide of the net. Right in front there by number 15. As we are back to even strength now. fresh off of the bench. Murley's cut that pass off. As Chloe Carey sends this in deep now. And got a shot on net as Schwartz was forced to stop that. As Scott Cook weaves her way through two Central Plains defenders before sending that high of the net. We're into the final minute of play here in regulation. Looking very much like Eastman's on their way to a 4-goal victory. Shots 38-15 for them in this game overall. And for them today, what's been so evident is that forecheck. It's really done a lot of damage against their opponent, hemming them in at the blue line, holding the offensive zone more times than not. And just plays like that, forcing turnovers down low in the Central Plains zone and creating opportunities like that for Lambert. Sends it just wide of the net. Eastman will not let up here until the very final buzzer as that shot turned aside by Schwartz with 6.7 seconds remaining. And thought that for the Central Plains Capitals in this game today. They've gotten great goaltending from Schwartz. That second period, thought that it was an improvement in their game. They were even able to get on the board for the first time, but it's been a really tough way to end off this game for them as they've been hemmed in for most of this third period. And Eastman, the Slacks, once again against the Central Plains Capitals early in this season. They take a 2-0 season series lead over them. And not quite 6-1, but pretty darn close today. 5-1 is the final. As St. Thomas picks up another win here in this 2025-2026 season. Eastman bounces back from their first loss of the season on Wednesday against the Winnipeg Ice and hands Central Plains their third loss of the year. For Central Plains, they'll go back down to 500, heading into their final game of the weekend tomorrow, where they'll be in Winnipeg to take on the Winnipeg Ice. And outside of the Eastman Selects, if they hadn't lost twice to them, this Central Plains Capitals team could be 3-1. So, hey, look, this Eastman Selects team in many ways is, I feel like, still the standard from around the league. Of course, defending champs, just like the Winnipeg Ice were for the past few seasons. Eastman, I think, got that respect last year. And for Central Plains, I didn't get a chance to watch their first matchup against Eastman, which of course happened last weekend, but seems like in many ways this might have been an improvement. I mean, they piled up more shots as this game went along. Yes, they gave up about 19 shots in that first period, but gave up about 20 for the remainder of the game through the last 40 minutes. So you got to take those moral victories where you can. You also got to take solace in that, hey, when you're able to get power play opportunities, you look pretty dangerous in this third period of action. So yeah, it's a process for Central Plains as they continue to try to build to taking down some top-end opponents in this league. But today, it's been the Eastman Selects who just flexed their muscle, turned up their game to a whole nother level throughout this one on the pressure. And one thing was clear. Their goal was to hem Central Plains in their own end, force turnovers, force them to cough up the puck. And more times than not, they were able to do that, which led to the offensive chances and scoring chances we saw from the Central Plains Capitals today. As for Central Plains, as we take a look at the standings, they move to 3-3. As for the Eastman Selects, they move to 4-0-1, moving 1 point behind the Winnipeg Ice now, where of course Winnipeg will look to get a 3-point lead back today as they'll be going up against the Pembina Valley Hawks coming up here in under an hour. 4:30 p.m. is when that game is going to be going live in Morden, Manitoba on this Thanksgiving Saturday. But we'll get into the players of the game. For me, for the Central Plains Capitals on the losing side of things, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for the losing side today. Got to give it to Bailey Schwartz. Without her in the first period, that score could have been even more lopsided. She battled in this game, hung in there, and gave her team a chance to stay in this game until the very end. Just a bit more offense needed from Central Plains today. Well, actually way more offense, but yeah, a tough game where their goaltender, I think, stood out the most for Central Plains today. As player of the game brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for the Central Plains Capitals, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out. 995 Miltz Drive, as well as checking out their website at cancentralsportscards.com today. As for player of the game for Eastman Selects, brought to you by Terrico. So we take a look back at the score sheet in this one. A lot of players stood out, honestly, for Eastman today. Take a look at the box score here. Apparently our camera just went off. Apologies. But yeah, I'm not sure what quite happened there. But in this game today for the Eastman Selects, I think we're going to give it to Emily Carrier, who had multiple points, a goal and an assist in this one, and was creating high danger chances all game long, as she has for most of this season. Player of the game for her, brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards, or brought to you, by Terrico. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. As we take a look at the standings for one final time here, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this edition of our MFHL game day coverage. Sorry I'm flustered here, folks. A lot of people have been banging into us up here all broadcast long. It's been quite frustrating, but happy we were able to get it done today. And as we take a look at the remaining schedule for this week in the MFHL, still a few games to go today, as well as a triple header tomorrow on Sunday. As for us, we're going to be back in Shoal Lake next Saturday for a classic, the Westman Wildcats and the Yellowhead Chiefs. Until then, I've been your play-by-play commentator and host, Graham the G Show Forsyth, signing off. So we leave you with no signal here, but we do leave you with, the Selects, a 5-1 victory on the scoreboard there. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Take care.